Okay, so I'm just gonna start now because I feel like no one wants to wait. Just before I start, when you click twice on the slide, you will get a bigger screen, which might be helpful to be able to read everything I wrote on my slides. I try to keep the text as little as possible, but there's still some on there, so I can highly recommend doing that. Also, my face would be smaller, which is less awkward for me. Thank you very much. So I'd like to start with introducing myself. I'm Nadine, and I refer to myself as a happy maker. Not only does that apply to my bubbly and cheerful personality, but also to the way I design and to what I design. Because I like to address social problems with a bit of fun or a bit of humor. In this way, I hope to make the world a happier, more beautiful place. Here is an example of what I mean by that. In my second year, I made this interactive installation that visualizes the impact of bullying in an immersive way. I didn't just want to show, like, okay, guys, this is what bullying does, it's very bad. I actually wanted the audience to feel inside them what it does and how bad it can be. So at the beginning of this project, I was thinking, okay then, what is a problem in current society that gets to me, that makes me angry or that makes me sad or that I get goosebumps from? And actually, the answer was pretty close to me. The fact that my parents were sitting or are sitting on the couch, both 50 plus, while they could and should have worked for a couple more years, and my mom still wants to, that hurts me. It actually pisses me off. And it scares me a little bit for my own future. Because who or what will help me if I am unemployed on the couch later when I'm older and I'm not ready to be done with working? So I came up with this question. How can I, as a happy maker, give the healthy, unemployed, over 50s fresh enthusiasm when looking for a job? To find this out, I wanted to talk with my target group first. I wanted to pinpoint the pain points for them. I wanted to find out what is actually going on. So to start the conversation with them, I created this. And this is based on my own assumptions. So I was wondering, okay, is this everything that's happening? Do you agree with me? Is there more? And what to you personally is the most important or the most common aspect or reason why you're sitting at home or why a vacancy is unsuitable? I also wanted to hear the other side of the story. This is Nika, and she is a career coach and works with a lot of people from my target group. And she, during our conversation, she mentioned a couple of interesting things. Firstly, she said, in today's society, employees must be sustainable, employable. Secondly, the average 50 plus that I supervise will just sit and wait. They don't dare to take a leap of faith. And last, I think the employers don't see the value of the 50 plus because they don't sell themselves well. And that made me realize what is one of the problems, because there are a couple of problems, and it's a big problem that I'm not going to be able to solve myself, which is fine, but there was one problem that stood out for me. A large part of my target group has a lack of self-belief. Well, they're so incredibly valuable. So I came up with a solution, an interactive mirror that strengthens or raises self-belief. Why? Because I believe that when you are convinced of yourself, other people will be too. I called her Mina. It's the Finnish word for I, which is very important. My mirror is not about the outside world. It's not going to tell you what weather it will be. It's also not going to tell you the time. My mirror is about the person standing in front of it, the one talking with himself. So let me take you through my process. When I design, I really like to involve my target group as much as I can. And when I started to design Mina, unfortunately Corona kicked in and we all had to work from home. So I had to come up with a new way, and instead of inviting myself over for coffee, which was no longer an option, we had to video chat. great fun. I can highly recommend it. So I started with a questionnaire, and what was very interesting to me was that that I found out, or was the result was that most people are either negative or neutral about mirrors. So when I gave them a second exercise in which I told them to talk to their mirrors 1 week long, every day, and where they had to tell themselves, I am, and I'm really good at, they didn't really look forward to it. And they said it felt uncomfortable. So, interesting. I can imagine why. But then, why and how did they still do it every single day? And even more interesting, after 1 week, this was the reaction. It's interesting that saying something positive to yourself in a mirror causes some change in yourself. This is the same woman that said in the slide before that she was not looking forward to doing this exercise. And look how positive she is now. She even told me that she will keep doing this, even though it's not needed for me, not right now. She will keep doing it because it had such a positive impact on her. So if one sentence, 7 days, can do this, I am sure that Mina can do a lot more. So for Mina, I'm using the tiny habits theory from B.G. Fox. And one of the things that is quite important to make Mina a success is to make sure that the user gets an action prompt at the right moment. This means Mina's placement is very important. Mina must be linked to a daily ritual, such as brushing your teeth, getting your first cup of coffee in the morning, getting dressed, eating lunch at noon. And this way, the user will get a natural prompt and will not forget to use Mina. And it means I won't have to expose them to even more annoying push notifications, because I feel like we're having too many of them already. Am I right? The other thing that's important is the way I build up Mina. So the exercises she gives have to start very small and tiny. It's very important that it takes as little effort as possible, and that the user slowly builds up a relationship, a sort of friendship with Mina. And then we can go deeper and deeper into the user. The feedback system is another important part of Mina. Let me take you through a simple example of an exercise. All right, I hope I didn't go too fast and you were all able to read this. So in the beginning, it's very important that Mina makes the user feel good by giving compliments and by agreeing to things he says, like, yes, I'm gonna find a job. Yeah, you're gonna find a job. Or yes, I'm really good at selling myself. Yes, you're really good at selling yourself. This way the user will feel better and more comfortable talking to the mirror, and just in general feel better. And I mean, we all love some positive energy, and like B.G. Fox says, we change best when we feel good. So yeah, Mina is specialized in analyzing speech. She analyzes a couple of things, like the uses of words and voice. This is my flowchart. It's in Dutch, I'm sorry for that, but I'm talking about speed, volume, intonation, emotion, etc. She then calculates the persuasiveness of the user and can tell whether or not the user is improving. That way, the more the user and Mina bond, the more accurate the feedback from Mina will be. And the user will slowly but gradually increase his self-belief. And this is a Dutch saying, which kind of means it's getting to her head, but this is what I'm doing it for. Thank you very much.